what? Yes, you read the title correctly. We are eating dahlia tubers today. Why, you might be wondering? Well, they are edible. The entire dahlia plant is edible, and I'm just curious. So let's give it a go. First thing I'm doing is I've got some clumps of tubers, and I'm doing a sniff test because what I've read is that different tubers have different tastes. And the other thing I've noticed is just when I'm picking flowers or when I'm digging tubers, I have a really good sense of smell. It works really good. And I can smell there's a difference. Some of them smell really peppery, and I don't really like pepper, so I don't want to get a peppery tuber to eat. But I don't know that I can tell from that. So anyway, let's prep some tubers. I've found a recipe for dahlia bread, and from reading the recipe, it seems like it's sort of a date loaf, but you use dahlia tubers. And then one recipe did say that you can use a zucchini bread recipe, and you just substitute the zucchini for the grated dahlia tuber. So this is going to be very interesting, but also to test out the actual true taste of a dahlia tuber, I'm going to steam some and I'm going to bake some in the oven. And I'll keep it pretty plain just so I can really sort out what they really taste like, and if it's a plant moving forward that I would like to grow as a food. Usually when I am cutting up dahlia tubers, I'm dividing them. So it kind of feels weird because this time around, I'm actually just cutting them up to eat them. Now on your tuber clump, if you've been able to get yourself a tuber clump, I would never do this if I was dividing dahlias. This big one is the tuber from last year. I would call it the mother tuber. This was the one that we planted in the ground last year. It smells kind of sweet and earthy. It often looks very shriveled and wrecked. It's normally one that I'd chuck away. This one actually looks really good. It would probably not be as fresh as the others. Let's see. I'll cut one of these little ones. We'll compare. You can see the one on the right is last season's. The one on the left is this season. All right, let me just get this sort of sorted, and then we'll come back and start prepping these tubers. Try all the different options. I think they're going to be a little bit of a pain to peel. Oh, that one's a bit tough. We'll leave it. Oh, that first cut's so difficult. You can see I've got rot down inside this tuber. You can kind of feel when you're cutting into it that some cut really nice, so fresh. Sorry, I took that away too quick. And then others, this one that I just cut, you could actually feel it when I cut it. It was like it had started to go woody, when the stems of asparagus. If you leave them too long, they start to go woody, or a carrot, if it's been left in the ground for too long, and it'll start to go woody. Now, I'm going to cut a little bit of this clump because I can see it's got a pinky tinge to the flesh. So we might get something. This one has the slight peppery smell. This one has the sweeter smell. Okay, let me just, my embarrassingly small grater. I meant to get another one. I said that in the last cooking video. Whoops. Okay, the ridiculously small grater is one thing we're going to need, and a peeler. My peeler's not very exciting. I just have the most plainest peeler. I like this one. Anyway, let's get prepping. Wow, they're very, very easy to peel. It's just that they're small. It's the skin's smooth, but it's like peeling Jerusalem artichokes. I was going to leave the skin on for some of this test, but I actually think I'll leave it off because it seems fibrous. And I don't think that's a nice texture to put in your mouth. So now I need to grate up as much as I can, which is tricky because they're so little. And I've got the most tiniest grater in the world. Jamie Oliver's my favourite chef. How does he do the messy hands thing all the time? Like, okay. I've had some thoughts about this. I'm going to do a few different ways. I want to try the baked ones, just a plain one with salt, and then one with honey and salt, because I think that will taste nice. So the honey and salt one I kind of need to keep separate. So kind of treating it like, I don't know, roasted vegetables, if you were just roasting vegetables. So I'll cut them up a bit smaller because I've got the tiniest little container there. I'll put a bit of honey in these ones. So and it's going candy, which I don't mind. We like it. So I'll just put that in there. So the honey carrots idea. I am going to boil some. Just crack it. Yeah. It is not cooked, not even close. 2 eggs. I usually make my own vanilla, but I'm waiting for it to marinate. So eggs, vanilla, oil. So there's half a cup. In another bowl, dry ingredients. So that is sugar. Now, I don't have enough sugar because we're not big sugar eaters. So I'll have to do a little bit of what I do have of white sugar, and the rest will have to be coconut sugar. We like the caramelly taste that coconut sugar does. It will change the colour of the cake though, so it'll be a darker colour. I can't have gluten, so I'm using gluten-free flour, which again changes the texture of things. We're so used to it that it doesn't bother us anymore, so we don't worry about it. But just keep in mind at the end of this video, when you see the cake and we taste test it, if you make it at home with slightly different ingredients, it might be a little bit different. But we're going to get the idea of if we like eating dahlias. Half a teaspoon of baking powder. I have the cutest little spoon. See the little man poking up in there? I mean, it's a bit creepy if you really think about it, but half a teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda. I always put more than what it says, so that just went in. Teaspoon of cinnamon. And a teaspoon of nutmeg. Although I feel like nutmeg, you can go a bit overboard, so I'm just going to put a little bit. I'm not going to go too crazy with it. I actually might put a little bit more cinnamon. Now we mix. The coconut sugar gets a bit lumpy, it clumps together. Now I'll put the wet ingredients in. This is the mix at this point. And apparently we're putting this in now. The mix isn't very moist. I've got to say, like, I feel like we need a liquid or something in there. It says to stir until just moistened, so I guess we're on track. I can add walnuts to this too, but I think I might just keep it more plain because we're really trying to figure out if we like eating dahlias. It looks pretty good now, doesn't it? I always spray my tins, but I do it over the sink, so the overspray doesn't end up all over the kitchen. I should taste the mix. I don't like eating raw dahlia. Oven! About this. Okay, here we have the roasted dahlia. In the end, I tasted the honey one. Here are the honey ones. The difficulty is they take so long to cook because I don't know why. They just took so long. So I had to turn the oven down really low. And so of course they're real crispy on the outside. You would imagine it'd be like a potato, you know, real crispy and nice on the outside and soft in the middle, which it is. But the inside is more, it's not like a fluffy starch like a potato or something like that. It's more like a really watery kind of, it's not rubbery, it tastes like I'm eating a plant root, which is what it is. There's nothing in my, like in the filing cabinet in my brain that even is like this, that I can tell you what it's like. I can do my best to try to describe it. It's like, even though it's soft, it's still a bit sort of, not crunchy, but there's resistance to it. And there's not a lot of taste. It doesn't really have much taste. I think if you were to find a way to use dahlia tubers in cooking like this, you'd almost want to figure out a way to add flavour and figure out a way to cook it without the entire outside turning into a hard shell with a little bit of inside. Okay, we'll have a look at the boiled ones. As you saw, I mashed them up, but they don't mash because there's too much liquid. It's sort of like trying to mash up almost like pears. Like, you know, if you stew pears, imagine trying to mash them up and then thinking that you can add like butter and salt and have a nice mash. It's not going to work. And that's what this is like. You could not add butter and you couldn't add butter and salt to that and have a mash. I would say that's a fail. I can't think of an application. I'm not a chef, maybe someone else can. It's got kind of a yucky smell too. I can't imagine this being very appetizing. I'm not even going to try it. I'm just waiting for the cake to finish. It seems promising. I've pulled it out. It's just taking a really long time to cook because, like I said, they take forever. So I've had to turn the oven down right down low. I think it's on 160 degrees Celsius, and we've nearly had it in there for an hour. And normally when I bake something like a banana bread or a zucchini bread, it's sort of cooked in, 35 minutes at about 180 degrees. So we'll see. I'm suspecting because this cake isn't a standalone. Zucchini has sort of no flavour, and you put it in a cake and it looks good. Looks like a really nice texture. Okay, let's try it. I'll try it by itself and then I'll put a little bit of butter on it. I feel like it tastes like nothing. Like you can't tell. That's actually pretty nice. What it gives the cake, so imagine a nice piece of banana bread or date loaf or something. You get the flavour of the banana or the date. The dahlia doesn't have a lot of flavour, but what it does have is like this background earthy taste. So imagine if you like chopped up tree roots and cooked them and put them in your food. It's sort of like that, which it sounds really weird, but I guess if you wanted to try something really different, this would be the thing. I wouldn't bother with trying to do a mash. That's not going to work. The roasted ones I didn't like. They just have no taste, and it's weird. I find it weird but in this it works because it's so moist. It's like putting zucchini in bread. Whereas zucchini I can't taste at all, whereas there is a taste for this, but it's hard to work out. I mean, For a fun little thing, I think it's worth making the cake. And to just say that you've eaten dahlias. Or to make dahlia bread for someone. I'll put some butter on it. Have a think about knives. It's got to be the right knife. This is going to be good. I can tell this is going to be good with the butter. Nice texture. I like the tuber bread. The tuber bread's really good. It has this like aftertaste that's slightly like warm, like pepper. You know how pepper has a bit of a heat behind it? Very, very slight like that. You want to try this Dahlia bread?
Is it safe to eat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, have a bite. What do you think?
It's good.
Do you think it's kind of weird? Like there's something about it that you can't kind of figure it out?
Yes.
Like earth. It tastes like tree roots.
I don't know.
With a background slight peppery sensation.
I can only try things like specifically like that.
Oh.
For me, it tastes good.
Okay. Go out and eat some dahlias. See ya. Bye.